right, guys. Unit 1 review, section 1. Number one piece of advice is to pause the video and really try the problem on your own. Think really hard about it, and then watch the video and fast forward and rewind as needed. Okay, let's start it here. So first we have f of x is this function and g of x is this function. We want to evaluate the following. So f of 2, that means we're trying to find what's the output when the input is x equals 2. This is for f. So f of 2 equals, and now we're just putting in 2 for x. Okay, and if you're unsure why, that's because f of x, we show right here that x is 2. Okay, and so then the square root of 2 plus 3 is just the square root of 5. Okay, and that's the answer. All right, next up, g of 1. So g of x is here, so let me just write g of x equals 2x plus 3. Okay, so remember, g of 1, that 1 is being plugged in for x. Okay, so anywhere we see x in the equation where I've underlined, we'll plug 1 in for that spot. And so we end up with 2 times 1 plus 3 is 5. Okay, no relation to the first problem, square root of 5, it just happened to be the same number. Okay, now part C is saying evaluate f at 5 when x is 5 and evaluate g at 5 and then subtract the 2. So let's just do that. I'm gonna write f here, the square root of x plus 3 minus g 2x plus 3. Now be careful because this minus sign is going to the entire thing of g, right? Which means we need to make sure it's applied to both the 2x and the 3, and the parentheses will do that for us. Okay, so now let's plug in f of 5 and g of 5, and notice there's both of these are 5. That's because it's f of x minus g of x, right? And it's x and x. It's how do I say this? X is it's the same variable, right? So if I plug in 5 for the first x, it has to be 5 in that second x because they're both x. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense. So square root of 5 plus 3 minus 2 times 5 plus 3. Okay, so we get the square root of 8 minus 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Okay, and that's my answer for now. We'll keep it just simplified like that. Okay, there is problem number 1, function evaluation. All right, pause here and give it a try, guys. Number 2. Okay, welcome back. Number 2. Okay, so what are the points of intersection for the system of the 3 equations shown? So here's a point of intersection, and here's a point of intersection. Now the thing is, there's only one point where all 3 equations are shown, and that will be at the point -4 in the x, 4, +2 in the y. Okay, so we're physically just looking for intersection there. Where do they physically intersect or touch? Okay, now it says what functions are increasing in the range -8 is less than x, which is less than 0. Let's just mark our range. Let's just highlight it real quick. So when x is at -8, okay, it's right here, and let's see this, okay, and in between -8 and 0. All right, so there is our range right there. And we say what functions are increasing? Well, increase, remember we read the graph left to right, and we say, is it going up in that time? Okay, so if we start over here on red, it's going up. See how the y values are getting higher as the x values are going to the right. Okay, so I would call function f of x in red. Say yes, f of x is increasing. Okay, how about let's check g of x in green. So remember, we always start on the left. And is it going up? Well, no, it's going down, right? So as x's are going to the right, green is going down. So green would not be correct answer for B. And lastly, let's check out purple, h of x. So it starts up here, really way up there somewhere, comes down, keeps going down. Okay, so it would not be increasing in that range. Okay, which quantities are increasing on the range from -3 is less than x to 3? So let's check that out. -3 is less than x is up to 3. Okay, -3 to 3. So negative on the range. Remember, negative means below the x-axis, right? Positive means above the x-axis. So which graphs are actually below the x-axis in this blue range that we have here, right? So it should be really, we should see the functions here. Okay, and hopefully that made it pretty clear. The first one in green here, g of x, okay, it is negative. Okay, although, okay, watch this though, be careful. G of x is also positive. If I find a better color. Let's try a different green here. See how that works. G of x is also positive here. Okay, so technically, g of x is negative on the light green here, but also positive on that dark green. So I think it would answer, that would be true for the question. It would also be true for the question positive in that range. Okay, and then we have our purple. Let's add in a purple here. Okay, and purple is definitely negative. That means, remember, below the x-axis for that range. So g of x and h of x. All right, moving on to the last problem. Go ahead and pause and give it a try. Okay, I apologize. It's not the last problem on this one. Okay, so here we go. Here's this main equation we're working with. The equation above gives the amount V in volts of a voltage circuit with an input current I. So I is like our input, like X is usually. And given a resistance of 200 ohms, that's that 200 number there. Okay, so this is a problem from physics, basically, electrical circuits. So Mikey decides to apply 2 amps of current to the circuit and measure the output voltage. So write this scenario in function notation. By the way, notice how I underlined key terms. That's something I recommend for SAT and everything. So, okay, so Mikey decides to apply 2 amps. So we learned input I was amps. So inputted 2 amps. Okay, and that would be 200 ohms or resistance times 2. Oops, I don't know why I wrote times like that. Times 2. Okay, and we could also say that equals 400. And what unit that would be? Volts. So you could write this, you could describe this as when there is 2 input amps into the current, the voltage would be 400. So then Naru decides to apply 25 times the amount of current than Mikey. Whoa. Okay, so how much voltage would Naru have compared to Mikey? So Mikey applied 2 amps. So Naru is applying 25 of that, so that's 50 amps. It's a lot. It's a decent amount of current. Okay, so just write this out in function. V of 50 equals 200 times 50 equals 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 zeros. So 10,000 volts. That would hurt a little bit. 10,000 volts. Okay. All right, and just for a fun little extension, you can skip this if you are feeling pressed for time in this review. Caitlin decides to use a resistor of only 10 ohms. Yikes. Okay, interesting. How much current would she need to apply to have the same voltage as Naru? So Caitlin actually has a new equation. V of I equals 10 times the input I. Okay, and now it's going backwards. How much current would she need, that's I, to have the same voltage as Naru? So remember, Naru had 10,000 volts. And this is voltage here. So Caitlin would have 10,000 volts equals 10 times I. Divide by 10, divide by 10. Okay, and her input current would be 1,000 amps. Now that would really hurt. Okay, so just to put that into reference, the circuit at your house puts out 120 volts at about 15 amps, typically. And that could really hurt you if you put a fork into that wall socket. And now we're talking about 10,000 volts at 1,000 amps. So, okay, anyways, just had a little fun with that one. Moving on, number 4. Okay, so this is the last one on review 1.1, so take a minute to give it a try and then pop back. Okay, so this one is piecewise. Okay, so piecewise functions, they're one of the little bit trickier, newer ones. Basically, you've got this function g, and there's 3 different pieces, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and those pieces apply when the x that we're looking at is in a certain range. Okay, x is less than 0, between 0 and 3, greater than 3. Okay, so let's do this first one, and hopefully that'll clue you in on the rest. So g of 0. So this is saying when x is 0, okay, which evaluate the function. Now we need to go to which piece are we in. So when x is 0, so let's look at our ranges in red here. When x is less than or equal to 0. Well, there we go. We just said when x is equal to 0. So it looks like we're going to be in this very first piece. Okay, it's not this one, it's not the second one, because this means when x is greater than 0, not equal to. Okay, so if we're in this first piece, we have x squared minus 1. And now we plug in our 0, which goes to 0 squared minus 1 equals negative 1. Or if we want to be formal, we could write g of 0 equals negative 1. Okay, so if you're confused, pause there and give the other 2 a try. Okay, so next up, when g is negative 3, we are, looks like we are still x is less than or equal to 0. So we are still in this very first function here. That would be x squared minus 1, which would be negative 3 squared minus 1. Make sure you have the entire negative 3 in the squared, so negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 minus 1 equals 8. Okay, and last one, g of 3. Again, be careful. I'm putting these ones just for test right on the edge. Sometimes they fall in the middle and they're easier, but so 3 is x is less than or equal to 3, so we are in this second equation or expression, squared over 3 plus 1. So now we plug in 3 in for x, 3 squared over 3 plus 1, which equals 9 over 3 plus 1, which equals 4. Okay, there you go. Function evaluation for a piecewise.